Well, I just started learning some techniques on how to make my own flowers, thanks to a lot of other YouTubers out there who've demoed it. And so these are my first two paper flowers that I made. This is a album cover that I'm working on. And my girls are always asking me how I do stuff. So as I'm learning new techniques, I'm recording the videos for them so that they can do what they want when they want to. I really like this one. It's an imitation of the Tim Holtz flower, grunge flower, but I cut the flowers off of the Cricut and then did it. So the one I'm going to demonstrate today is this one that kind of looks like a carnation, and it's really simple to do. At first I wasn't going to demonstrate how to make these mini misters, but when I saw them at the store for $6.99 the other day, I decided I'd probably demonstrate these at the same time. So anyway, to make the carnation, I used the accents cartridge on the Cricut and cut out these in blackout mode. So this is a 3-inch, this is 2 3/4, this is 2 1/2, and this one is 2 1/4. This is the original color of the original cardstock, and I don't know if the camera can really show it, but this is the difference after you add the distress ink with the gold, with the mist mixed into it. So that's just one shade. That one is with mustard seed and gold mixed in a container together. This next one is the same ink color, mustard, but instead I used pearl. So it's more of a clear to slightly silver effect instead of gold. And so what I thought for this last one, for the third one that I would do, is I'm going to demonstrate how to make these misters with bronze and with the mustard seed. So what I do first is I'll take a mini mister that I have, and again I got these off of eBay really cheap. I think 30 of them for like $12. And I filled it 3/4 of the way with water. Then I take my distress ink, and again on sale these bottles are only like $3.50, and you can probably make at least 10 of these mini misters with just one little bottle. So I put a full dropper full in there. So I put a full dropper full. And then I take my perfect pearls, and I put about a end of a popsicle stick worth. I have my paintbrush out, so I'll use it instead. But I just put a little bitty heap of the perfect pearls into the bottle itself. And it does make a little bit of a mess. Okay, and so I'll put that in here and then shake it up really well. Let me do a quick cleanup. I don't want a huge blob of bronze on my flower. So here's this flower. So you just shake up the mixture that you just made, and this one will be quite a bit darker than the others because of the powdering. You can already see just in the bottles what a different color each little mixture will make. And so then I just spray it. That's one side. And it's okay if you get a little bit of globs. It adds to the difference. And then I use my heat tool and dry it. And then I'll pat off some of the globs that I don't want on it. And so there's this one. And so you can kind of see it's a little bit darker than some of the others that we made already. So then I'll repeat the same step with my last one. Now you'll notice on these they have kind of a green edge. What I did was I used the peel paint, and I just used a couple of drops on the sponge. In this case I already have some, so I'll just use one. And then again, I do this on both sides because both sides of the flower will show when we put it all together. Okay, so now what I do is, to really get the crinkle effect in these flowers, is I have a mister that's just full of water. All that's in this is water. And it does kind of liven up the inks again, so your hands will get a little messy, but that's alright. These distress inks react to water, so anytime you reactivate the water on them, they will come back to life. Then we carefully unwrap each one after we've totally wadded it into a knot. And we start stacking them. Then you can take a paper piercer or whatever you have handy. At the moment I have these little scissors, probably not the safest things to use, but punch a hole right in the middle all the way through all the layers. Okay, I see it coming through, so I'm going to stop. And then I have a brad here, and I'm going to punch it through all those layers. Okay, so there's the little brad. Now since this cardstock is wet, you can wet it a little bit more if you need. It's in perfect condition to be soft, and you can just start squishing it together to be in the shape that you want. So I work towards the center and just make it as crinkled as I can right toward the middle. You can make these any amount of layers. I've seen a lot of people make them with 8 layers if they were using a thinner scrapbook paper. This is cardstock, so that's why I'm only using 4 layers instead of the 8 like so many have been using. So then after that, you can kind of start peeling it apart, and it starts forming your little flower. The other nice thing about this, by having all the mist on it and the inks and the water, is when you let it dry, there's the flower. When you let it dry, it will dry completely stiff and hard, and it will keep its shape. So there's that one.